Hello, waving world. Hope you're having a good day. As usual, just working away on the Sensational Cat-Man. How's Austin doing? Well, I don't have persistent updates on exactly how he's doing. I'm more or less appraised of it at the same time as the general public is. As per Austin's most recent update, he's recovering from his surgery and from his stroke. I'm glad that he's recovering nicely. As he put it in his last video, he still has a ways to go, but he's progressing, and he'll, with all hopefulness, I'm sure he'll return to full form in time, so long as he continues to improve at the rate that it seems he is. I'm not given persistent updates. I know the same as everyone else does, essentially, on the subject, but I'm confident that Austin will bounce back. I'm glad that his surgery was a success, and I'm confident that he'll be all right. He's a real trooper. He's going through some serious, tough times right now. I wouldn't wish the medical stuff that he's going through onto anybody. And yeah, I'm not too sure what else there is to say on the matter. It sucks that he's having to go through all this, and he's really being put through the ringer. But I'm sure that in time he'll be able to bounce back all the way. If you want more details on the whole thing, he talks about it in depth in his latest video, so I'd recommend that you turn to that. I really don't know more than what he said there. In essence, he and I have continued to speak, regarding work, and that's really all I've got to say about that. No, sorry, Fred. The last live stream's lost. Technical difficulties. It's just gone. It's unfortunately not able to be shown anymore. But yeah, so to conclude on the matter of Austin and his health, I recommend that you go check his videos out. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And sending him well wishes. I'm confident that he appreciates all of the really nice messages everyone's been sending him. So continue to do that, and yeah, I'm confident that he appreciates everyone's support. So just continue to offer up that support, and I'm sure that he'll have another update, or something in the future. That's all I really know. Looks pretty good. But if you have any questions regarding the Cat-Man project, how it's going, as always, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Yeah. So if you're wondering how I'm making this, essentially first I animated Catman in 3D, and after that I'm going back over it, hand drawing it, so that it has that classic animated feel. Also, part of why I'm going back over it is that this is not your typical Catman that we're seeing here. If you're wondering why it's not your typical Catman, well, that would be a spoiler, so can't really tell you that. All I can say is that in this shot, he's not your typical Catman. just for the sake of consistency, let's go ahead and just draw out the entire first frame. And then we'll go from there. Yep, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Just 25 more. The goal here for this shot is to make it look as much like an actual vintage comic book panel as possible. Is that a lot of work? Yes. Will it be worth it? Also, yes. Is it a lot of detail for one frame? Yes. But it will look really cool when done. And I know because I did this shot before. So, as you can see, I've already done this kind of retro style comic book Catman before. This is just a different one. He's got a little bit more detail even than the last one, but he's being drawn at an easier angle to draw this time, so there's that going for it at least. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and begin just frame by frame drawing this hand. Then I'll move on to another element and another element, and before you know it, I'll have actually drawn all of the elements for the scene. There's going to be a lot of jitter, but that's fine. I'm not really going for a very clean, polished look here. This is more for, it's like a style thing. So long as when you pause it, each frame looks like it's from an old comic book panel, I'll be happy. The end result's going to be a very, like, Ralph I always have a hard time pronouncing his name. Ralph Bakshi? Ralph Bakshi? Like, I know how to write it down, but I can't pronounce it to save my life. Anyway, it's going to have a very kind of like rotoscope, jittery kind of end result, which is exactly perfect for the sequence. Bakshi. It might be that. I'm not too sure. I mostly ever seen it written down, but it might be Bakshi. It's an odd name, or at least it's not a name I've heard around aside from in regards to him. But you get the idea. That's going to be kind of the look that this sequence is going to have. Very kind of floaty and a little bit dreamlike. Bakshi. Yeah, that might be it. That may well be the correct pronunciation. can't say I'm excited to color this all. It's going to be a lot of little details to have to color in. But it'll look cool. Okay. So now that the main shapes of the hand are done, let's go ahead and do the little folds. Alright. Okay, let's see. I guess we can go from right to left, so let's do the outline of the forearm and I guess the shoulder. Why not? This scene, I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers. So in this scene, I guess all I can really say is Catman is falling, and there's some, but this isn't the Catman we're used to seeing, which is why he looks different. Okay, I guess I'll do the main bulk of his body then. Let's see. Okay, so he doesn't move all that much. So I'm going to go ahead and see how effectively I can copy and paste this part. Let's see how that looks. That works. Oh, I must have missed one of your questions, Fred. Am I happy with the progress? Yeah, I would say that the movie's progressing quite nicely. I'm really excited to show you guys the finished product. I can confidently say that we are past the halfway done mark, which is really good. Okay. Maybe it's time to start working on this. It's looking good. Okay, that's looking good. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. Just had to respond to some messages. Okay, pretty happy with how that's coming along. Yeah. Got too messy in those last two panels. Gonna undo that. Yeah, that's acceptable. I was getting too sketchy. Almost all the voice recordings have been given to me. However, the last time I was sent the files was prior to Austin's operation, and right now he's busy recovering, so he's not really in any position to be working on the project right now. Thankfully, I have a pretty decent amount of audio that I haven't animated over yet. So by the time I reach the point where I'm going to need more, I'm sure he'll be able to send me the remaining files. Okay, that should do it for the cape. Let's see how that looks. I'm happy with that. I didn't want it to get too crazy with all lines and stuff on it, and the last pass I'd done had too much. This is the exact right amount. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and finish off the head. Okay. Let's do outline of the belt now. Now let's save. Okay. Well, that's getting there. That's getting there. Slow process, but it'll look cool when it's done. So yeah, once I get all of the main elements outlined, his limbs, with only the legs remaining now, then I'll start adding in the details, and I'll do it line by line for the 25 frames. Then once that's done, I'll go ahead and color him in, and then I'll move on to the next one. Essentially, for this sequence, I'm going to be showcasing 9 different versions of Cat-Man. The idea being that each of them kind of symbolize one of his lives. Whether it's a life that he's lived or it's a life he could live is left up to the viewer's interpretation. It's kind of like parallel versions of him. What could be, what could have been. I already have one shot that's got 3. This shot's going to have 4. And I'm going to need just a few more to make 9. It's a pretty taxing sequence from just, a standpoint of how many frames I need to draw. But it's worth it. It's going to look really cool. Is this the scene with the most drawings so far? Well, no. I would say this scene certainly has the most taxing drawings because of all the little details. However, number of frames, we've got much longer shots in this project with way more drawings. The drawings themselves are just not quite as complicated. There's drawing in pretty much every single shot of the whole thing. So this is not the longest shot in the project, and as a result, not the one with the most drawings, but it certainly has some of the most complex. Although, honestly, I would say this one was pretty darn intense. Specifically, this version of Catman here. These, 18 or so frames, took me the better part of last evening to do. But I'm very happy with it. It very much looks like his very first comic book appearance. That was exactly what I was going for. With this one being how he looks in the movie, and this here being how he looked in the pilot. So yeah. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. Let's see in here. And so in this shot we'll have 4 different versions. Yeah, I haven't shown it yet, but actually you guessed it correctly. I may as well show you. Let me pull up how it looks composited together. Okay, one sec, it lagged. So yeah, that's basically how it looks. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty cool. Let me open it up, Premiere, and I can kind of show you how the sequence looks. I can't really divulge much information as to the context of what gets us here in the story, but I can go ahead and show you kind of the way it's turning out. Come on. Load. So that's kind of what we have so far. You can see my references over here. But yeah, if I just drag this over here. So yeah, this is kind of like the sequence that I'm working on right now. Like, I guess I may as well tell you. I won't tell you, I will not say who killed him, but you can guess this is the scene in the movie where Catman dies. Because, as Austin said, in every single Catman story we do, he will die at some point, be sent to his kind of like mystical cat realm, and be revived by his foster, tigress mother. And so this is kind of like the scene where that happens. I wanted to go with something much more radical than the pilot. The pilot was just kind of like this, just general trippy imagery where I just kind of overlaid pictures of Catman and had him just kind of like warp and distort, and had the foster tigress mother character walk up to him and place her paw on his chest, and he's revived. In this one, I wanted there to be more symbolism. I wanted to just be a bit more fun. So as a result, I've opted to make it so that as he's tumbling through this realm, that essentially we get to see different incarnations of Catman. And they're kind of like, lives he could have led, or lives he has led, or lives he could lead in the future. Just their symbolism is, just kind of like about potential, I guess you'd say. And then I'm still working on how I'm going to go about doing this, but in these shots where we pull out a little bit further, my plan is for us to have like some flashbacks to him growing up in the jungle and stuff, and him first arriving in the city and all that type of thing, and becoming a detective, just kind of like murkily kind of like showing through in the fog surrounding him. We'll see how that looks. I'm still toying with it. It's very experimental. And as we're doing it, we're kind of transitioning through these 9 different versions of him. And obviously, I'm trying to keep it within references to the classic kind of the source material. So that's why there's the movie version, followed by his original comic version, followed by what he looked like in the pilot that we did, and then the shot that I'm working on right now has that kind of bootleg Australian version of him. And then after that, we're going to have a version of him from also the original comic run, where he looks like this. I'll just try to pull that up if we can find a better version of it. Let's see. Catman 40s. There we go. So one of them's going to be this version of him, where he's got the kind of the blue outfit. And one of them's going to be this version of him, with this kind of more tribal kind of thing going on. So, I'm just trying to harken back to this, these various iterations of the character. And I think one of them that's going to be there, I'm just going to have David in his, detective outfit, and as he's tumbling backwards, his fedora kind of flips and flies off of his head. Just having fun with it. I think that it's a fun way to go about it, for these kind of the symbolism of the 9 lives, and kind of fun little Easter eggs for people who know the character. And in the end of it, seeing as he lost one of his 9 lives, one of these iterations is going to be erased, destroyed, shattered like glass is the plan anyway. That, or kind of Thanos snapped, they're turned to dust and fizzle off. And I'm still not sure which version of him that I'm drawing I'm going to do that to. It might be, it's definitely not the movie version, because that's the one we're following. So I think that it would be his pilot version, maybe. That one's one of the easier ones to draw, so having him fizzle into a particle effect is probably the easiest to go about doing that. But yeah, that's in essence what I'm doing. And yeah. Oh, kind of tired. Let's see. it that small. Just for reference later. I'm going to pop this over here and along with this. May as well close that. So yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how this little sequence is coming along. It's pretty taxing to work on, but I think that it's really worth it for the sake of the cool visuals. But yeah, like one of my plans was maybe to have Cat-Man kind of fighting versions of himself, but that got too complicated. This way, like while it may sound really involved, the background is a lava lamp, and there's only one character being animated, so I can afford to put a little bit more effort into Cat-Man here, because it's not like other shots. Other shots we have, you know, backgrounds that are being painted and other characters and stuff moving on, and I need to worry about perspective and all that stuff. In this, there's no such thing as perspective and up and down and whatever, you know, me worrying about lighting or painting numerous backgrounds. That's just not an issue here because the background's just a lava lamp. And I've got like a solid minute of lava lamp footage, and the sequence is not going to be a whole minute long. So yeah, I can afford to go a little bit more crazy with the drawings for the sequence because of the fact that there is no background and that there are no other characters, which is why I'm not going to do the Cat-Man like fighting other versions of himself. Like, it's just not worth the extra bandwidth it would take. And if I had to do that, then I'd probably want to really simplify it, and then I'd probably just make them all look like the same version of Cat-Man. Like, they'd all look like the movie Cat-Man kind of iteration that we've got here and that we've got like right on screen right now. You know, like this guy right here. And we've been seeing him for the whole movie, and I think it's really fun to see these like kind of classic comic book versions, because, you know, like I wish that we could have him look like this or something, you know, draw him like that for a whole movie. Like, that'd be awesome, but that would take way more effort, and instead of making like a 30 to 40 something minute long thing, it'd have to be like 5 minutes because of how much longer it takes to draw each and every frame. I'm getting really tired. I think it's because I didn't eat lunch, so I'm going to have to get moving. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Oh, awesome. Tacos for dinner. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, but I am going to just take a little breather, take a little break. I've been working since like 7 a.m. But yeah, have a good one, everybody.